You know, it's fitting that a guy named Carney was elected prime minister. Because Canada is a circus. It's a freak show. That's why I represent this flag now, bitches. For all of you non-retards, get the hell out of Canada. It's over! It's over. Canadians are a special kind of stupid. They looked at the last 10 years where we had home prices triple. Home prices tripled. Brutal lockdowns during COVID. I know because I refused to get vaccinated, so I had a tough go. Out of control, completely out of control immigration. Housing market is just insane. I don't just mean the price. Just trying to find a place in the first place. Because that's what you get. You get, let's just shove in a few extra million Indians, but make it very difficult to build homes. And people say, oh, the election was rigged. Listen, I'm the first one to jump in on saying things are rigged, okay? But just from being in Canada, no, these people are just actually this stupid. These people are actually this cucked. These people are actually this cucked and retarded. I don't think anything was rigged. If somebody can show me evidence of that, cool. I'll jump in on that theory. No problem. But it's just my experience is that Canadians are spineless soy retards. Why are there explosions on the screen? How do I do that? I did something and there was explosions. Did you guys see the explosions or am I having a stroke again? Is it a stroke or is it explosions? There is evidence of rigging? Okay. I'm absolutely cool with that if I can see it. It's just I've also seen how retarded Canadians are. You know. Oh, God, you guys. Okay, so Lane Staley, who I believe lives in Canada, says, COVID was F'd here. I know, dude. I know. I did my entire COVID thing here. I couldn't go to the gym without a shot. Yep. I got fired for refusing the shot, dude. Mad respect. Mad respect to you, my dude. I couldn't travel in my own country because I didn't get the shot. Yep, same here. Same here, dude. You weren't allowed to go from Vancouver to Calgary. You weren't allowed to go from one province to the next if you didn't have the shot. You weren't allowed to leave Canada because a lot of people said, well, if you don't like it, then why don't you leave? Love to. Love to. But you weren't allowed to get on a plane. You weren't allowed to get on a train. You weren't allowed to drive over the land border. So you were just stuck. You were just stuck for 2 years, not being allowed to go anywhere other than a grocery store or the mall. And who goes to the mall other than Chinese people to do Tai Chi at 7 a.m. and Zoomers? Do a heart with your hands and it should pop up on the screen. But I never did a heart before. Let's see. Damn you. Damn, you tricked me. God damn you. You tricked me into doing a gay gesture. You tricked me into doing a gay gesture. What does this do? Nothing. Thumbs up? Oh, yeah, that's the click like. Guys, click like if you haven't already. So we got thumbs up. We got gay hearts. Homosexual hearts. But we still don't know how to do fireworks. Let's see. Jazz hands? Is it jazz hands? Fireworks? Maybe I need to do a sound effect. Nope. All right, man. Dude, Canada's done. And so's my channel. How many viewers do we have right now? Like 20? 166, yeah. Canada's done. My channel's done. It's all good. Actually, the videos are coming back. The videos are doing okay now, but the live streams are pretty much dead. I guess people don't like me just reviewing soda, but that's fine. My cancer was misdiagnosed for 5 years in Canada. That's our great healthcare system. See, that's the thing, is that people, the one thing that Canadians will always point out in their superiority over the U.S. is, oh yeah, well, if you get sick, good luck going bankrupt. Well, in Canada, it's good luck getting sick because you're just going to die. So really the two options, well, there's three options. But the Canadian option is get a grave illness, and by the time you get treatment, you're dead. Okay? In the States, you could just have a job and you'll have health insurance and you're good. Right? Now, unfortunately, it's tied to health insurance. So if you're in between jobs a little too long, you're not going to have it. Maybe you're a small business person, but you're not making that much money to drop $1,000 a month on your healthcare premium. So then the situation is get cancer, get excellent treatment, but now you owe $1 million. So would you rather be dead and you didn't pay for it? That's Canada. Or $1 million in debt, but you're alive. And also, guys, listen, there's life hacks. There's life hacks around the insurance bills in the States. You can go on some like low monthly plan to pay it back. It'll never get paid off. The interest will be like 1,000%. You know what I mean? It's not like they come and beat you in the face until you give them $1 million and break your kneecaps. They're never getting that $1 million from you. And of course, third option is just get a decent job and you'll have health insurance in the States. Right? Listen, I'll tell you, I'd rather be $1 million in debt, but I didn't die from whatever illness I had, than in Canada where you're on a waiting list to get a family doctor for 7 to 10 years. You're waiting 18 months to get an MRI on your knee, whereas in the States you get one the next day. So it's a balance of, do you want to get any care? And it's free, but you don't get any care. Oh, Canada. That's why the national anthem is Oh, Canada. That's why. Because the people are so stupid. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. I got lucky and was diagnosed in service. Yeah, guys, go to the military. Go to the military. You will pay nothing. Dude, if I was a young man again, because as you guys know, I recently turned 65. If I was a young man and living in the States, dude, I'd go become a cook in the military. Dude, I am a world-class chef. All right? The military needs some good cooking. Last time I went to the hospital, I got a $7,000 bill, and the government paid for everything but $100 in the USA. Yeah. Yeah. And hey, to be fair, there'll be horror stories that you went to the emergency room for a sprained ankle and you came out with a bill for $6,500. That happens, you know? I'm not by any means saying we have a perfect healthcare system. They have better ones other places in the world, you know, Southeast Asia or whatever. But hey, I'm not moving to Cambodia, dude. I'm not moving to Singapore. I'm not moving to Malaysia. For me, the options are Canada and the US. That's it. That's it. So if Singapore has a better healthcare system, that's great. I'm not moving there. Stuart Stevens just dropped 50 juicy sewer bucks, baby. There may not be a lot of viewers on this live stream, but the viewers that are here are the most hardcore and generous sewer dwellers on the earth. The other ones who aren't here are a bunch of casual bitches, dude. Let's see what he has to say. Let's read his comment here. Stuart Stevens, 50 juicy sewer bucks. You really went through the sewers on these last vids and streams. Love the Canada American talk. Dude, thank you so much. Love the support, man. Stuart, you are an absolute G. 50 US dollars, baby. And now we're going through PayPal. PayPal only takes 2.8%. If he sent that through YouTube, they would have taken 30%, dude. So if you are going to donate to the sewer to keep the Sewer News Network alive, please use the link pinned to the top of the chat. I went to Tim Hortons the other day. For you Americans, this is Canada's biggest donut and coffee chain. It was 9 a.m. and they were out of everything. I asked them what they had and they started giving me an attitude. Indian Canadians are intolerable. I've only had poor interactions with them. And we'll get into that story later because I had one yesterday in my own home. Do you want to hear that story? You want to hear that story about Indian workers inside my own home? Well, my mother's house where I'm staying, visiting her in Canada. So let me give you an example of the healthcare system. While I was living in Canada and while I had a family member living in Kami, California. So we both messed up our Achilles. He was playing soccer, I believe, and it just snapped. And I kicked in a car window and the glass slit right through my Achilles, just sliced it. Chopped it off. And let me discuss the different health care we received from this. He got surgery. He has a job, so he has health care. He got surgery right away. They gave him this little scooter where you put your lower leg on it and you walk with the other leg. He got, I think, physiotherapy, and all this was covered by his work. And now his leg is normal. Now, I was in Canada and I had free healthcare. So how did mine work out? Well, I went to a walk-in clinic as I was bleeding everywhere. And I guess in this, we don't have urgent care in Canada. We have walk-in clinics. We have your family doctor, which is basically a walk-in clinic, but you have an appointment. And we have emergency room. So I go into the walk-in clinic because it was the closest thing, and I'm just bleeding everywhere. And they said, dude, this is out of our pay grade. You got to go to the emergency room. So I go to the emergency room. And I'm waiting there forever. And they hooked me up with a boot. You know, those metal boots, and it's got the Velcro straps. And it has a slight tilt. So it's got to lift in the heel, because when you hurt your Achilles, you basically got to be wearing high heels until you recover. So this is at the hospital. This is the emergency room. Now, for my free health care, I had to pay $300 for that boot out of pocket. It wasn't covered by health care. Right? And at the time, I was in debt, I think 30 grand, and had maybe $100 in the bank. So that went on the credit card. And I bought crutches there too for, I don't know, another $30 or something. So I'm in for about $350 for my free health care, which costs more than my family member's entire surgery, recovery, physio, right? And then I'm waiting to see the doctor in the emergency room. And I tell the guy, hey, I think my foot's broken too. It was this Iranian guy. And he was dressing fancy, not like a doctor. He wore these tight khaki pants, button-down shirt, this young guy. I guarantee you he drove a white BMW at the time. Guaranteed, right? So I said to him, oh hey, doc. I think I broke my foot too. Completely ignored me. And then just sent the male nurse over to get me a boot and some crutches and a $350 bill. So the doctor completely ignored me and walked away. That was my interaction with the one doctor at the emergency room. Now, that was it. There was no surgery. I just was in this boot for 3 months, and the Achilles reattaches, kind of. The glass didn't fully sever my Achilles. It was still attached by like a hair. It was still slightly attached. And being in this boot, over time, the rest of the Achilles kind of connects back. So now I have this dimple on the back of my leg from the stitches, and my whole Achilles ankle mobility is jacked. It's jacked, and it hurts if I run. And it has zero range of motion less range of motion compared to the other foot. And the right calf is half the size of the left calf. That was my free healthcare. And then furthermore, I was convinced my foot is also broken because putting any weight on that foot hurt my foot. Aside from the Achilles, it hurt my foot. Okay? So now I go to my family doctor. This was years ago, back when I had a family doctor, back when you could have one in Canada. I moved, lost him, and then couldn't get another one, right? So I go back to the family doctor and I say, hey, dude, I think this foot's broken. And he goes, nah. And then I come back again a few weeks later because it hurts to walk. It's been a couple months. Dude, seriously, I think the foot's broken. And I think it might have been 3 appointments, at least 2, before he goes, fine. You want an x-ray, asshole? So I get my foot x-rayed, and I come back, and he says, yeah, it shows the bone is this certain color, and what does that mean? Yeah, it was probably broken. Oh, thanks, dickhead. 3 months of me walking on a broken foot. Asshole. And now it's healed up. Thank you. You wish you had a family doctor? Well, I lost this one. I moved and then I lost it and I came back and that was that. So yeah, that was my experience with free healthcare, guys. It cost me $350, whereas family member cost him nothing. I had horrible care and now I'm limping around like an asshole and he's completely fine. That's your Canadian free healthcare. And guys, this was way before the massive influx of immigrants where the healthcare system became overloaded. This was before that, guys. And that was the healthcare I got. Nowadays, they would just throw me out in the street and say, oh, you don't speak Indian? Go die in the street. That's what they do nowadays. They just throw people in the street to die. Did they not know they were dealing with the Achilles of a king? Apparently not. Love from Pakistan. Well, I'm sure you'll be here soon, right? Say hi in person when you come to Canada in 3 days. I think people have issues with the live stream because you barely talk about whatever it is on the thumbnail. Asshole, I'm talking about the state of Canada, and why would they choose more of the same? You retard? Am I not talking about the state of Canada and why would you not vote for something better? You know the election results. How do I talk about the election results for 2 hours, dick face? Shove a dick in your dick face. What kind of dick face is that if you don't have a dick in it, asshole? You know what? My blood sugar's not low right now. I just ate. You're just a dick face, dude. Jesus Christ. You want me to repeat for 2 hours that Carney won? I'm talking about the state of Canada. You retarded pussy homo. Guys, should I just shut down the stream? We got a lot of complaints from gays. Hey, big fan here, SK. Just an honest opinion. I'm just saying. You have a TAC record? Ryan, you know I love you, right, buddy? I love you, Ryan. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally, buddy. You know me and you are the best of friends. Don't take it personally. And I didn't take it personally what you said. You know, that was just constructive criticism, and I took it in stride. And I'm hoping that you can take my constructive criticism in stride. You know? We're just a couple of adults here. We're just a couple of adults giving each other feedback. You know? Respectfully, maturely giving each other feedback. That's all. This is how adults do it. This is how adults do it. Some of you could learn a lot from the interaction that Ryan and I just had. You could learn a lot. All right, guys. So, Ryan, here's the thing. I wanted to talk in this live stream about the current state of Canada. Because that's why it blows my mind that they didn't vote for something different. Right? So just to clarify, this is related to the election because I'm complaining about the current state of Canada. So, for example, I spent most of my life in this current city that I'm in, that I will not dox myself. I moved here from, I used to live in North Vancouver, okay? But then I moved to this city, which shall remain unnamed, when I was about, gosh, my memory's gone, dude. But it's sometime between 10 to 12. I think in grade 7 I moved to this city. And it was a small suburb. It was a small suburb. At the time, people in Vancouver would be like, "What? Where'd you move?" And it was a fine place to grow up. Now, I grew up in what you would call the projects, probably, right? These cheap apartments with a bunch of immigrant families there. We had Croatians, Iranians, a lot of white trash. Because we were poor, and I was poor well into adulthood, and then did okay for a few years, and now I'm back to being a complete and utter loser. But the point is, I want to talk about how this particular suburb that I grew up from the ages of 12 to adulthood, how that changed. So it was mainly white. You would have, gosh, when I was in school. Guys, by the way, guys, this is not about white supremacy. I'm all totally fine with immigrants as long as they assimilate and as long as the numbers make sense. You can't bring 1 million Indians in 1 year, which is what they did in, I don't know, 2022 or whatever, something like that. Bro lives in British Columbia. Yeah, dude, I just said I lived in North Vancouver. That's not a secret. But I don't want to give my exact coordinates so that I get swatted right now at my mom's house. Okay? My mother doesn't need to get swatted right now. We got a lot going on in this house. I came to help her with. She doesn't need to get swatted. So anyway, very little traffic. Homes very affordable. Even our poor family, when I was mid to late teens, we were finally able to afford a home. It wasn't easy. But after living in the slums until then, we were able to do it. Nowadays, if we were coming up again, absolutely impossible. Absolutely impossible. Not a chance. I couldn't even rent in this city. You guys know the Sewer King's origin story. I was renting here $2,250 a month, and then they raised the rent by $1,700 after evicting me, so they could raise the rent. So then I come back here after living in the States for the last 18 months, right? And I got my green card. I'm staying in the States, all right? I'm just visiting Canada. So I come to this suburb that I grew up in, and now it's skyscrapers. Skyscrapers. We didn't have a single one until maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And now the skyline is just skyscrapers, and they're putting up more. You see those massive cranes. Oh, you're building another one in the gap between those two. Thank you. There was I could still kind of see the sun. Let's blot that out. And here's the other thing. They keep building and building and building and building skyscrapers and stacking people, right? And building these townhomes that are the very narrow ones. That'll be 4 floors. 4 floors, but each floor is this wide. Just stacking people. But it's the same cities of my it's the same streets, the same roads as my sleepy suburb from my childhood. So you've 20x the population, but you kept the roads the same. So now, what was once a 3-minute drive from my mother's house to the mall is now 20 minutes. It's downtown Hong Kong. And not just in traffic, baby. Not just the traffic, the demographic. Not just the traffic, the demographic. It's downtown Hong Kong. I was born in BC. Can't even get a job there in STEM, so I couldn't move back. Some Indian has it, of course. No family and kids for me. Some Indian took my job in house in Surrey that I would have lived in. Yep, absolutely. Curry, Surrey. For sure, dude. Oh, we have to bring in immigrants because the Canadians aren't reproducing enough. Oh, is it because you brought in too many immigrants and we can't afford to live here? And they took our jobs? It's the old butter chicken or the egg. Right? Which was first, butter chicken or the egg? So the traffic is insane now. It's utterly insane. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave the house. It's so bad. But then when I do venture out, there's all these different stores and all this different signage. A lot of Chinese signs and some gobbledygook that looks Middle Eastern. For example, I saw a new store that wasn't here 18 months ago. Close to my mother's house. Persia Foods. Persia Foods. You know why that store can thrive? Because of the demographic. So how about you take your Persia Foods back to Pakistan? Huh? Freaking Iraqis. Persia Foods. Jesus Christ. Of course, the Pizza Hut went out of business. The Pizza Hut that had all-you-can-eat pizza lunch buffet, that went out of business. They put a Starbucks in there. So the Pizza Hut is gone, but Persia Foods is there. Great. Now, unfortunately, we couldn't afford Pizza Hut when I was a kid, but I still love Pizza Hut. I would still rather pizza be there than Persia Foods. Change your title. It's disrespectful. Canadians are very smart. Oh, Canadians are so smart. We had Trudeau for 10 years.
Housing prices tripled. I'm renting a basement of a Chinaman. We're so smart. So I voted for 4 more years of this because I'm so smart. You're being mean to me. I'm smart. I voted for Carney because I'm retarded.
We never got Pizza Hut either. Bailey, don't pretend. Don't pretend like you grew up like me. You told me every time you went to Kmart with your mom, she bought you pizza at the pizza restaurant in there. What was the pizza restaurant in there? It wasn't Pizza Hut? You told me every time she took you shopping, she bought you pizza. That never happened in my childhood. We would get outside pizza on my birthday. And it was my cake too. That was my idea. I'm not trying to paint my parents in a bad light. But one year I said, hey, how about we make the pizza the cake and just put candles in it? Bada bing, bada. Oh, Little Caesars. Oh, sorry, you didn't get Pizza Hut, but you got Little Caesars every day when you went shopping. I'm sorry, Bailey. You're the best. My blush is starting to get low. Okay? You know I don't mean this stuff. I love you guys. Stop it. Stop it. Stop getting so offended. How many jabs? I got none. That's why the lockdown was hell here. $40,000 immigrants voted against Pierre and mail-in votes. So here's the thing. What is your shirt? A dude rocking out on a guitar, just totally shredding, dude. That's my shirt. Do you see my shirt? You see my shirt, Begonia? Do you see it? Yeah? You like that? You like that, baby? Stuart Stevens just joined the scum, dude. Stuart Stevens. First he drops 50 juicy sewer bucks, and now this? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Stuart Stevens, let me welcome you to Sewer King's Underground Militia. Your job now. Your job in life is to protect the Sewer King. And also, please have a look at the new emojis you have. Now, I hand drew all these emojis myself. Go ahead and use those emojis. Okay? Click the little smiley face button in the chat, and you'll see all the emojis that only the Sewer King's Underground Militia have access to. They're coming after my firearms. It's almost Australia here. Dude, you have some left? Didn't Trudeau take all of them? What are you allowed to have, dude? A musket? Dude, that's all Canadians are allowed to have is a musket. A musket and some gunpowder. My wife got the jab because of her work, and a year later she's having subtle heart palpitations. Dude, I'm sorry to hear that. I effing told her not to get it. Dude, women don't listen. She basically called me crazy. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. I wish she would have listened. I know. And you know what? She thought you were an absolute right-wing lunatic. You're so stupid because you believe those conspiracy theories you found about on Facebook. And now they know. Let me tell you about a family friend, okay? I haven't talked to this guy in years, but he was a few years older than me, maybe 8 years older than me. But this guy, the amount this guy worked out and just crazy about his diet, would never eat anything unhealthy. I don't know if he did triathlons, but he was that type of dude. He would just bike from here to 5 hours there and then back. Just insane. And now the dude had a heart attack the other day. Haven't talked to him in years, but I'm going to guess if you're only, 6 to 8 years older than me and you had a heart attack and you're a goddamn triathlete with an amazing diet, I'm going to guess you got the jab. Now, having said that, I know marathon runners do get heart attacks. Too much cardio damages your heart, but I don't think that was the case. Who knows? So, talking about how this area has changed, we covered Persia Foods, the finest in Pakistani groceries. We covered that. And I've told you guys before that a tent city popped up close by. Well, is he dead? No, he's not dead. He's getting emergency surgery. So the tent city that's just around the corner from my mom's house, and this was a nice area. I drove by it the other day because it's right outside the grocery store. It's even longer, dude. It's taking up a very long block, like a long block the whole way. Tents, shopping carts, tents, drugs. I'm trashing the homeless, but I'm trashing the system that is creating this. They decriminalize all hard drugs, everything. Guys, we're not even talking about pot here. Vancouver decriminalized hard drugs in certain personal amounts. So these people can just be doing crack on the street, right out in the open, and they are. East Hastings. Yeah, so guys, if you don't know East Hastings, look that up. That's not, I don't live near East Hastings, but it's a mini East Hastings. East Hastings is, okay, you know what? You don't have to look it up. Have you seen The Walking Dead? It's that. It's that with shopping carts. It's The Walking Dead with shopping carts. Dude, it's bad. Dude, it's bad, dude. Dude, it's bad. You know, I wonder, did you Americans or non-Canadians hear about this? The night before the last day of the election, I think that's what it was. It was like 4 days ago. Some freaking Chinese immigrant, 30 years old, gets in his SUV and mows down dozens of people at a Filipino festival, outdoor street festival, killing 11 people, and dozens are in the hospital now. So the death count might go up. He killed 11 people. Good thing we got rid of the guns, because the guns are the problem. It's not a mental health issue. And the cops said he was very well-known police. He had tons of interactions with the police. But he's still on the street. Listen, after you have a ton of interactions with the police, maybe lock him up. And if it's a mental health thing, can we bring back asylums instead of having somebody run people over? Good thing we got rid of guns, though. Didn't label him a terrorist. Yeah, exactly. That was the first thing. As soon as the news came out, this is not a terrorist attack. No, we can't say his name. It was a lot of digging in several days for me to get a name. They didn't want to say the name. But if it was a white guy, they would have immediately said, Billy Butthole did it. It was Billy Butthole. Billy Butthole ran over those people. He's white. He's a white supremacist. He's a Trump voter in Canada. Yeah, get him. Dude, Canada's done, baby. Canada is done. Get the hell out. I did. I got out. I mean, I got thrown out, but I'm glad I'm out. It's always Billy Butthole. I know. Coulter's Law and Coulter. Bring back asylums. Dude, that's so much of the problem. I never knew it was a Chinese dude. I'm assuming it was Chinese. It was like Kenji Lo Kim. Not Kim, that's Korean. Kenji Lo Lee. And then I asked, I think ChatGPT. I said, yo, because, hey, listen, I'm the greatest journalist in the world. I don't just throw out race accusations. And I asked ChatGPT, yo, where's this name from? Where's this fool from? And it said, there's multiple places, like multiple Asian things. But I think the very last name was Chinese. So I'm going to go with that. Vietnamese? Maybe. Whatever. He had a goofy ass name, so I knew he was an immigrant. It wasn't like Billy Lee. It was Xinjiang Ching Chong. Xinjiang Ching Chong Lee, you know? Yo, Sir King, you see Logan Paul's leaked text in the CoffeeZilla suit? No, I have not. I have not. Ariel Helwani lookalike? Really? Really? Look at this face. Look at this face, you retard. I could be a goddamn supermodel if I wanted to. I'm just not vain. You know what I mean? I have no ego. Eagle? I got the eagle, baby. Well, this wrist. So let's talk about the Indians. Okay? So, my mother had a roof leak. Damaged the roof, damaged the floors. So she made an insurance claim. And she had to pay for the roof herself. She has to pay like a $2,000 deductible for the work they're going to do on the floor and ceiling. And the insurance company had this one contractor that they work with, and he was a white guy. Now, for whatever reason, my mother had issues with him and didn't want to use him. I urged her to use the contractor that works with the insurance company, because if there's any problems, hey, go deal with each other. But no. She wanted to use an Iranian. Okay? She somehow knew this guy and trusted him more than the contractor that works with the insurance company. Did I kick his ass? No, I think she should have gone with the white guy. It was made up problems she had with him. And you'll see how I was right. Listen, always go with the white contractor. In Canada, at least. So she goes with this other guy, and his workers show up, because he's not doing any of it. He's not doing it. His workers show up. And they're all wearing turbans, dude. So he gets the job, and he sends in the cheap Indian labor with the turbans. All right? Now, the flooring samples, right? We asked, hey, can we pick the flooring out from, say, Home Depot? No. I know this guy. He's got a warehouse, you know. I get the flooring from that guy. All right, fine. Can you bring in samples? He brings in like 3-4 samples. And the day that the Indians come in to install the flooring, we still don't have the flooring here. And we're on the phone with the contractor. And he says, okay, so which color do you want? I'm at the warehouse for the flooring, my buddy's warehouse. Oh, we want this one. This is the one. And he goes, oh yeah, we don't have that. I say, what now? Say what now? So he gave us 3 samples. We picked one. He said, no, we don't actually have that one. Okay, cool. So then when I was looking in the other direction, my mother picks another one. And I didn't hear about this. She did this behind my back. And picked a color I wasn't happy about. And then the Indians show up. No, I'm sorry. The Indians were here. The van shows up with all the stuff he bought. And I find out about this after the stuff's delivered. So it's too late. It's too late. I took a picture of this stuff. Hold up. I took a picture of this flooring. Where is it? How do I even use this? Guys, how do I use this camera? Oh, there it is. So these are the boxes of the flooring. I want you to look at the brand name. That's how we know this is quality, okay? So these are the boxes of the flooring tiles. Look at the brand name right at the top. Look at that. Look at that. Best friend in all caps. Oh God, that is the lowest budget Chinese branding. They always use their cousins, makes their family richer. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Best price, yeah. Best price for him, and then he'll charge the same as the good stuff. Best friend. So then they put this flooring in, and they're just here all day. You know what I mean? This was yesterday. They're putting this stuff in, and they ask, "Hey, do you have the garbage bags?" Wait, what? Aren't you supposed to bring your own, asshole? Aren't you supposed to have the contractor grade bags from Home Depot to clean up your job site? Excuse me, do you have the garbage bag? Standing there with his turban on. So now we got to supply the garbage bags for these idiots. Do you have a broom? Do you have a broom? And they need a broom too. Okay, real professional here. And then they're working and they're blasting their Indian music in my house. And I have to be here for all of this, right? I can't leave them here alone. These guys must have come from Temu. Yeah, that's what happens when you order flooring guys from Temu. Except from Temu, it would have been Chinese guys. So this is the Pakistani version. Duck Duck Do. This is what you get when you order them from Duck Duck Do. No bags or brooms, that's right. So now they're playing there. While they're working, right? And this is what I gotta listen to all day long. All day long. Good Lord. And now, guys, we have lunchtime for the workers. So they're sitting there in my living room, my mother's living room, and they're eating. They're eating on the floor. They're eating their vindaloo, okay? Their chicken masala. All right, they're eating masala, sitting on my floor. The part of the floor that's been done. They're sitting on my new, nice floor, getting butter chicken stains in it. I heard the utensils clang, 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 clang onto my new floor. Out of his disgusting AIDS mouth, chicken masala, ding, 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 on my new floor, on my new best friend floor. Ay, 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 ding, 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 ay, 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 ding, 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 nom, 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 ding, 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 dong, 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 ding, 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 ding. Right? You're here to put the floor in, not to have a wedding party. Jesus. Ho do 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 ding 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 dong 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 ding 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 ding. Sitting on my new best friend floor, eating their chicken masala, dropping their forks on my best friend floor. And you know what the worst part is? This wasn't even the worst part, baby. The worst part is the eating sounds. Guys, you know how I feel about people eating with their mouths open. Now, this cheap Indian labor with their turbans, oi, 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 dong, 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 dong. They're now chewing with their mouths open. They're chewing with their mouths open. I have never heard anyone chew so loudly with their mouth open. Oi, 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 ding, 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 ding. Oi, 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 ding, 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 ding. Dude, I am upstairs on a different floor, and I'm hearing the guy chewing. Oi, 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 ding, 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 ding. And it wasn't just chewing, it was lip smacking. I don't mean occasionally. I don't mean you do several bites, chew, 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 and then smack. Okay? Which is bad enough. Every bite was a smack. Every bite was a smack. Now here I am hoping that he would turn up the music so I don't have to hear this. Oi, 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 oi. So I don't have to hear. Jesus. I almost lost my mind, dude, and beat him with my broom that I had to lend him because he didn't bring his own. Oi, oi, oi. And this is what happens when you don't listen to your son. I told you, get the white guy. I told you, go with the white guy. And we didn't even save any money. This wasn't a financial thing. The insurance company pays whatever it is. We pay the $2,000 deductible. We pay $2,000 regardless. Why didn't you go with the white guy? Listen, if you're old and your kids are trying to help you, listen to them. God damn it. Why am I here if you're not going to listen to me? Oi, 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 ding, 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 ding. And this is why I can't wear pants during the live streams, because I get really worked up and I get hot. Jesus. The Jews are loving this. Did they import them? Did the Jews do this? Should I rant about them? Immediately, the stream goes offline. Static. Oi, 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 ding, 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 ding. Static. Gone. My grandma would do that. Ask me to help them with stuff and just ignore everything I say. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep, yep. Oof. My God. Now, I wanted to get the flooring that, is, how do I put it? Green, better for your health. Because if you guys don't know this laminate flooring, it off-gasses, okay? Like right now, it kind of smells like fresh paint in that room because it's off-gassing. Once you take it out of that package, the toxic stuff straight from the... Because the thing is, this was made, the Best Friend brand is made in the Wuhan factory, okay? They don't just do Gaia function research. They also produce flooring tiles. All right, my living room smells like bat soup right now. If the broth of soup was paint. So I wanted to get the type of flooring that doesn't off-gas. Home Depot has ones, or it's less off-gassing, and they're marked like green, whatever. But nobody's going to listen to me. What do I know? I'm just some asshole in the sewer. So now we got Best Friend brand with extra toxins and butter chicken smeared all over it. God damn. So my point in all this is, why did you vote for more immigration of these people? Why? I used these assholes for a move once back when I didn't know better, and they tried to rob me. So now I know better not to use these people. They also borrowed my snow shovel. A FedEx driver with the turban borrowed my snow shovel when his truck was stuck. He snapped it in half. He promised to bring me a new one the next day. He didn't, and I knew he wouldn't. When he said I will, I thought, yeah, sure you are, pal. Sure you are. So if you're thinking, oh, your rant has nothing to do with the title of the stream, I don't understand. I'm a retarded. I'm a retard. I don't understand. Well, these dickheads imported millions of Indians over the last few years. Why are you voting for them to do that again? Now, having said that, I'm not sure if the other guy would have been any better, at least as far as the Indian immigration goes. And here's why I say this. Pierre Poilievre, okay? Pierre Poilievre, when he was campaigning back when I was still in Canada before I left, so many times the location, because you go out and about amongst the people, like Trump will go to or I saw Biden at a car factory, whatever, right? That type of thing. So many of Pierre Poilievre's locations were Indian businesses. He went to an Indian grocery. He would hang out with Indian truckers. So many of his campaign videos I saw, he's surrounded by Indian people talking about, yeah, the problem with inflation is the carbon tax, yada. And by the way, I'm not defending the carbon tax. Get rid of it. But he would never say anything about the Indian immigration issue. And he would campaign amongst them to get the Indian immigrant vote. That would be like Trump campaigning amongst MS-13 members. You would know he's not getting rid of them when he comes in power. So I don't think that Pierre Poilievre would have put a stop to this Indian immigration, given that every time he was campaigning, almost every time, it was amongst an Indian population at an Indian grocery store or something. Because Sikhs are conservative, that's great. But it ain't the conservatives immigrating them by the millions. You are so wrong, man. You're so wrong. You're spewing hate, not hope. Dude, you're gay. I'd rather be wrong than be gay, and you're gay. You take it up the ass, dude. By a dirty, smelly Pakistani pecker, dude. So if I'm wrong, that's better than having a Pakistani pecker up my ass. You know what I mean? Anyway, so all this to say, thank God I'm out of here soon, going back to the States. My only connection, my only tie to Canada is my mother. And I want to be close by to help her out. And I'm not that close by, unfortunately. I'm quite a trip from here. If it wasn't for her, I'd never set foot here again. If it wasn't for my mother, I would never set foot here again. Understand me. Okay, let's get back to the super chats. Hang on here. How do we do this? Goran Chijanovsky with an Australian 3 sewer bucks. He says, dude, you're honestly the straight Freddie Mercury, dude. What a compliment. Thank you so much. Freddie Mercury absolutely ruled. A once-in-a-lifetime talent. And what a mustache. Thanks, dude, and thanks for your support. Beautiful Joe with 10 sewer bucks. He says, "Hail to the Sewer King. Thank you for being a no-nonsense man of the people. By the way, what are some hobbies you enjoy? Been getting into Warhammer 40K model building, and it's been fun making custom stuff." Dude, thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. Hobbies. All right. I would say it's basically just playing guitar. It's just playing guitar. That's pretty much the only thing I do as far as hobbies go. Now that I live in the States and I just got my green card, I will be getting a gun soon. Now, I don't know if that'll be a hobby, shooting guns, because of the ammo prices. If ammo prices were reasonable, then certainly that would probably become my next hobby. But bang, 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 that's $1. 3 bullets is $1 on a 9mm. I don't know how much of a hobby that's going to become. So for now, it's just guitar. You can find cheap guitars on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, that's it, dude. That's it. That's it for me. I'm gonna throw this to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna throw this to you guys as a poll. All right. Let's see how you guys feel about this, because clearly I made my point. But again, I do want to say that I don't know how great the other guy would have been, because he clearly wasn't going to do anything about immigration. And he was also asked about gun bans. He was asked something like, "Hey, would you reverse the gun bans that Trudeau put in?" Because Trudeau completely took away handguns, and he created this other list of 1,200 or so rifles that you couldn't have. So then he banned handguns. He banned another 1,200 or so rifles. I think they even added more to that later on. And they asked him about that, and he just kind of did a non-answer. He absolutely did not say, "Oh yeah, we're bringing back gun rights," but no. It was just some vague, "let me get out of this question" thing. And he was bringing in Indians. And he was once on the WEF website, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the guy that did get in, Carney, is a proud card-carrying member of the WEF on their website right now. But I believe Pierre Poilievre was also a member of the WEF at one point. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't know if this was just controlled opposition, if this was a smokescreen, because he never said anything about bringing back gun rights. He squirreled his way out of that question. He was obviously pro-Indian immigration. He was once part of the WEF, and also he was being such a dick to Trump. So I don't know, man. You got to wonder if it makes any difference at all. You know, maybe it would have just been how fast things go to crap. You know, maybe Pierre Poilievre just would have made a nice show about it for a while, and we're like the frogs in the water, and he turns up the heat, and it turns out, oh, this was the exact same thing. Because at first we thought, oh, he's Canada's Trump. I don't think so anymore. No, your country just sucks. Yeah, I think maybe it didn't matter. I think it's just one is going off a cliff really fast, and the other one is going off a cliff slightly less fast. Putin says, Shuhad, listen. I don't speak Syrian. Okay? Try English. Have you heard of English? The UK is after. Oh, the UK is done, dude. The UK is done. I don't know what's worse, Canada or the UK. Probably the UK, because right now we don't have thousands of people locked up for Facebook memes. Although we're almost there. We're like a few days from there, but I think you guys might have beat us to being worse. Why is there thumbs down? Did I do thumbs down? No, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Why is it not working? Thumbs up. Guys, the thumbs up is broken. It's only thumbs down now. Speaking of thumbs up, how are the likes doing here? Okay, we got 340 concurrent viewers, which is really sad, and 315 likes. Okay, that's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good, guys. But if you haven't clicked like, please go ahead and click like. Okay, hold on. I need a beverage. Now this right here is room temperature, completely flat Pepsi. Well, let's see if it's completely flat. Okay, maybe a tiny bit of carbonation. But I opened this maybe 5 days ago. And it's just sitting here. All right? But I need blood sugar, dude. My blood sugar is low now. I burned it off imitating the Indians. Let me tell you. Why the no pants? Because I get really worked up when I'm doing my live streams, even when I'm filming, and I get way too hot down there. I get way too hot. Almost 100,000 subscribers. Here's the thing, dude. YouTube will never let me get to 100,000. I've told you that before. So they're letting me get as close to 100,000 as possible to get my hopes up. And then they're going to Clinton me. At 99,999, I will get 2 shots to the back of the head. And the coroner will say, I did it myself. Are you streaming until you reach 100,000 subscribers tonight? No, that's not happening tonight, dude. Let me look up the exact number. Hold up. How many subscribers do we have right now? 99,477. No, dude, it'll take to maybe Sunday to hit 100,000. I'm not going to get 500 in one day. Although that did used to happen. There were days I get 500, 1,000. One day I got 3,500 subs, dude. And then they shadow banned me and I was stuck on 94,000 for 2 months. And now it seems they've lifted the boot off my neck and I can grow again. They'll say it was a drug overdose. Yeah, there'll be 2 bullet holes in the back of my head. It was meth. It was meth. Damn meth. He came back to Canada. He went down to East Hastings. And he got that meth. Germany is done. That's the craziest one to me. That's the craziest one. When you think of Germany's history, that they would let in the dirty illegals to take over their country. That's the wildest to me. And not Canada, not the UK. Germany said, yeah, that's fine. When it was once about maintaining their genetic superiority, now, yeah, let them all in. Let them bang all our women. Thoughts on Canada becoming an Indian country? Are you serious? Are you serious? I've been screaming about that for an hour and 18 minutes. Did you just show up? Guys, tell him. Tell him what I was doing here. Oh my God, are you seriously asking me about Indians in Canada? I just spent an hour and 19 minutes screaming about them. Oh yes, you just joined? Okay, well, when the stream is over, rewind. You missed out, dude. You missed out. Has there been a better rant about this topic ever, guys? Tell them. Tell them. Tell him. The king went off. Exactly. Exactly. So I have a friend here, and he wanted to go, when I first came here, he wanted to go to this Indian buffet called Tandoori Flame. He wanted to go to a buffet called Tandoori Flame. Now, owned and operated by Indians. The last time he went to Tandoori Flame, he had vicious, explosive diarrhea for hours, maybe even a day or two. But he thought the food was so good he wanted me to go with him. I don't think so, dude. I don't need tandoori flames coming out of my asshole. Talk about Stockholm Syndrome, dude. They destroyed your bungus for 2 days and you want to go back because you like the taste of the butter chicken? Buttermilk chicken? It's butter chicken. It's not buttermilk chicken. They turned his ass into a tandoori flamethrower, dude. And he wanted me to go there. Why? Because the naan are good? Indians are no good. I trust Pakistanis more than I trust Indians with food. I'm sorry, what's the difference between a Pakistani and an Indian? Isn't it the same thing? What are you talking about? That's like saying, oh, I trust Chinese food more than Korean food. Huh? What? What? Same thing. Just like Sprite and 7-Up taste exactly the same. You know? So anyways, all this to say, Canada is freaking done, dude. Canada is freaking done. It's over. If you can get out, get out. Dumbasses from Pakistan be bashing Indians like they're not the same. Yeah, oh, so it must have been a Pakistani that made that comment then. It must have been a Pakistani that made that comment. Trying to sound like he's better than the Indians. Dude, what's the difference? Pakistani are not nearly as dirty as Indians. Okay, sure, pal. I'll just take your word for it. Yo, Diesel Power. Diesel Power dropping 20 juicy sewer bucks. No question or comment, just wants to support the show. Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Fish Nexus with 2 juicy sewer bucks. It says, oy vey, it's all a smokescreen. Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think in Canada, it's a smokescreen. In the States, it wasn't. Proven by the fact how many times they tried to kill Trump. Nobody's trying to kill Poliver or Carney. So, yeah, it's probably just all a smokescreen. Didn't really matter in the end. Dude, thank you for the support. Thanks for the 2 sewer bucks. And thank you, Diesel Power, with the 20 sewer bucks. Did Canada make the right decision? So the poll we put up, 85% of you said no. Okay. Did you see the Indian wanting to impeach Trump? Pull up the vid. Yeah, the problem is, the reason I'm not playing any vids today, it's just me talking, is because I can't get any sound to come out of this freaking monitor. So while I'm here in Canada, this is going to be it. But this is my last live stream in Canada. Then we're going to go back to the States and get back to the most advanced video technology available to mankind. All right. You guys just got to hang in there, and we're going to go back to the home sewer tunnel. We'll be back to the home sewer tunnel for the next one. And another thing you guys got to understand about Canadian politics is that there's no Conservative Party. Now, before you guys lose your mind, What you have to understand that in Canada, the Liberal Party is, thinking of it in American terms, it's the very progressive, insane, trans liberals, right? And then the Conservative Party is what would be liberals, classic liberals in the States. We don't really have conservatives. The Conservative Party is just liberal light. Which is why Canada's always gay. It's just getting gayer. Which is why Pierre Poilievre had no problem with the mass Indian immigration or the gun grab. He had no problem with it. He did not speak on the campaign trail at all about, oh, they took your guns, and no, never. Not, oh, all these Indians are taking your jobs and your homes. No, nothing. You're choosing between progressive liberals and liberals. There was another party, what was it called, the PPP or something? They were like the Trump conservatives, but Canada's just so gay they couldn't get any traction. You know, a Trump type of person would not be able to win in Canada because so much of the population is just gay and retarded. It just wouldn't work here. Guys, both of the big candidates for this election that just finished were on the WEF website. One of them has been since removed, but he was on there. And another one is currently on there. Those were your options. PPC. Okay, yeah. PPC. There we go. That was the actual conservative one. PPC is a joke now? All right, so there you go. You have no options then. Canada's just cooked. Canada's just cooked. So listen, dudes, get out of Canada. And a lot of you are saying, yo, easy to say, but it's impossible to get into the States as a Canadian. There are other places to go. We're running out of places, to be sure. We're running out of places. There's very few places left. Most of Europe has been taken over by Muslims. Okay? Europe is pretty much done. In fact, I don't know where you can go. I'm telling you to get out, but I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. Guys, name a good country for Canadians to go to if they can't get into the States. Name a good country. I don't want you to mention Australia, because their lockdowns were insane. Japan, I don't think it's easy to get in there. Japan is really good at keeping Japan for the Japanese. So I don't know if that's an easy one. Australia? No, Cassie. Australia had arguably the worst lockdowns, maybe outside of China. Pakistan? The move might be to go to India. The move might be to go to India because they're all leaving to come to Canada. Then you go there and there's nobody there and you're just hanging out. You're just hanging out, taking over mansions. And by mansions, I mean mud huts. Brazil? No, not Brazil, dude. Brazil's getting cucked too. Mexico? Mexico would have been the play if Trump hadn't gone into power, because they would have all come up to the States and then you could just go down there and again, there's nobody there. Argentina? I thought of moving to Argentina when I was a younger man, because I heard they had good beef and affordable steak prices. Every other country actually secures the borders. Not in Europe, though. Not in Europe. You will not last a day in Pakistan. Well, luckily I'll never go there because it's a dump. It's a toilet. It's a toilet, so don't worry. We won't have to test that theory. Dubai? No, dude. You'll never be an oil sheik. You'll always just be a slave. No taxes, fine. But the heat is insane. and you'll always be a third-class citizen because you're not an oil sheik. Hungary? Yeah. I think Hungary and Poland are still holding it down. Costa Rica? All right. I can get behind that. My problem with places like Costa Rica, though, is you're not going to get the fast free shipping from online merchants. You're basically just going to have to live with whatever crap they have there. Whatever handmade goods. So if you need a new computer, it's got to be handmade by the locals. George Soros lives in Hungary? Oh, come on, Hungary. How can you harbor him for his crimes against humanity? Malta? All right. I think Poland might be the move, though. But again, I don't know if these are countries that you can easily move to. Do you have to have Polish heritage in your blood before you can get status there? I don't know. Goran Trijanovsky with Australian 15 sewer bucks, my dude. Australia had the worst lockdowns I can confirm, bro. Yep, I saw it on the news, dude. I live in Melbourne. 6 people out of millions got COVID, and they locked down the whole city for 6 months, dude. Thank you for confirming, and thank you for the support. Really appreciate it, my dude. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. People keep saying, oh, move to Australia. Have you not been paying attention? As bad as it was in Canada, Australia was even worse. Neon Leopard says, my people. What are your people? You'll have to be more specific. Your people are rats. You realize that, right? Your people are rats. Fuzzy rats. Poland accepts anyone who is willing to be legally there. Well, that can't be true because then it'd be overrun by Muslims like all the other European countries. That can't be correct. Otherwise, they would have been just as invaded. Oh, unless you mean legally there and the legally there process is very difficult. Okay, I see what you mean. If their process to be there legally is stringent, then you're not going to have millions of filthy bastards invading your borders. I see what you mean. I corrected myself. You're Polish. Are you sure you are? Are you sure you are? You want to ask your mother what you actually are? The UK is effed, bro. Of course it is. It's done, dude. Listen, everything I'm saying to the Canadians about get out applies to the guys in the UK or women. Get out of the UK. It's done. It's over. Switzerland will blah, blah, blah. Dude, Switzerland is done. Greece is the easiest. Yeah, but then you're going to get done in the bungus, dude. You want to get done in your bungus? The Greeks are gay. The Greeks are gays. They invented bungus sex. Okay? Listen, Greek food is great. Tzatziki sauce? Tzatziki sauce? What's it called? Tzatziki sauce? With some pita bread and some hummus? But if the deal is, hey, you can have this plate of fresh hummus and pita, and then I'm going to do you in the bungus, I'll pass. I'll pass. I ain't going to do it. I'm going to give up my bungus integrity for some hummus. MMA Guru Sewer King expatriate stream. Is MMA Guru leaving the UK? Why are you saying expatriate? Is he leaving? He should leave. He makes enough money that he could probably buy some sort of visa somewhere. especially his line of work, guys, when you do stuff like us, dude, dude, Mike Carney might kick down my door right now with the RCMP and arrest me for the things I've said. I've hate speeched for almost an hour and a half. I got to get on the next plane before Mike Carney shows up with some pepper spray. Just kidding. That's illegal. Did you know you can't buy pepper spray in Canada? Did you know that? Did you know you can't buy pepper spray? Yeah. Philippines are cheap and easy. Didn't that streamer get arrested? Wasn't it the Philippines that... God, I hated that guy from his first video years ago, Vitaly. I would know people say, hey man, do you watch Vitaly videos? Oh my God, he's so funny. And I would immediately think you're retarded. That stuff is garbage. Wasn't it the Philippines that he got arrested and he's going to get something like 24 years? Guys, listen, I'm gonna end this stream in about 20 minutes. I got some stuff to do before I leave Canada. I had pepper spray with me at the border and the cops freaked out. I had no idea it was illegal. Exactly. You might as well have showed up with a bazooka launcher. These Canadian pussies. Oh my God, pepper spray. Call the military. Not being gay in Canada is a hate crime. I know. Dude, I'm wanted in every province for not being gay. Every province. Happy birthday, Yvonne. Guys, everybody wish Yvonne a happy birthday, okay? Guys, it's not working. It's broken. Oh, there it is. That's for you, Yvonne. Make an underground sewer country, King. That's what I'm trying, dude. Our population is almost 100,000. Safe travels back to the States. Thank you, dude. Thank you, thank you. Vice City Excess with BGN 11 sewer bucks. He says, SK, thanks for the fun content and being genuine. Stay strong for the sewer. My dude, thank you. Thank you for supporting the show, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support, dude. Thanks, California. The cost of living in Utah is 4 times higher because of you. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, they're ruining Texas. They're ruining Florida. God, I can't believe what's happening to Texas. Isn't the head of FBI Indian? Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. He is, isn't he? Patel? Yeah, he's definitely a Paki. Americans created sister effing. No, dude. Dagestan, look it up. Dagestan has the highest rates of incest in the world. The Americans didn't create that. Okay, listen. If you're doing this amongst a bunch of soy boys, they might believe your BS. The rats are base, dude. We're not buying that. The Americans didn't create incest. Dickhead. Over the Middle East, people marry their cousins, quite literally. Shut up. So what's going on with you guys, huh? What's going on with you dudes? How's your life? How's your life, dudes? We're going to end this in about 15 minutes, and then I got to run. Dagestan is gay, yeah. They do a lot of butt stuff, and they do a lot of incest. It's true. Americans created gay pride. No, they didn't. They didn't. It was the commies from other countries who created it, but then launched it in the States. These are not American values. These are not American values. Okay? It was a psychological war, and that was one of the weapons they used, was making Americans gay and proud of being gay and accepting gay and then accepting trans and accepting gay marriage and all that stuff. That didn't come from inside America. That didn't come from inside America. Neon Leopard tipped $20. Thank you so much. Let's read if she has a comment. Safe travels, SK. Sorry about your best friend, Flora. Thank you so much. Hopefully I will have an uneventful flight back home. And hopefully this flooring holds up. Hopefully this flooring holds up and my mother doesn't get leukemia from the off-gassing from the toxins. But thank you for the support, Neon. The UK is having to make anti-cousin laws because of certain communities. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that they're touching that at all. If that's true. I'm just going to take your word for it that they're doing that. That they're putting in that type of law. Because they seem to be bending over for those people, allowing the Pakistani rape gangs to run wild. So, it surprises me that they would try to do anything to get in the way of their customs. I mean, listen. Things are getting bad, and you just got to go away. You know what I mean? You got to just find you some land. That's what I would do. If I could afford to do a homestead, the only problem is I don't want to do any work. Wake up at 6 a.m. to feed chickens? Are you stupid? I'm the one who's supposed to be fed at 6 a.m. Well, preferably later. Why am I the one waking up at 6 a.m.? Why aren't the chickens coming to feed me? Isn't that what they're there for? Don't you get chickens for food? For their eggs? Why am I feeding them? Bailey tipped 20. Juicy. Sewer bucks. Oh my gosh, Bailey. Great stream, King. Thank you so much. This is to help you pay for the therapy you need after listening to all that chewing. Oh, thank you so much, Bailey. Thank you so much for the sweet sewer bucks and for empathizing with the trauma I'm dealing with, listening to that lip smacking. Guys, I cannot overemphasize that it was lip smacking. It was disgusting. Every bite. Thank you, Bailey. Chickens eat bugs if you let them roam. Yeah, the problem with that, though, is if you let them roam, the coyotes will eat them. Guys, sometimes at night, for example, last night and the night I flew in at my mother's place, across the street, you'll hear coyotes just howling like hyenas. And I've seen them. I've seen them run around in packs of 3, packs of 2, sometimes a lone one over the years living here. Coyotes, man. And that's out in the suburbs. We have coyotes. What the hell? So if I'm out in the boonies, I'm not going to let my chickens run free to get eaten by a grizzly bear. You know what I'm saying? Donkeys, keep those away? Oh, so now I got to care for a donkey. Because the point about them roaming free was so that I don't have to care for the chickens. Now I have to care for the donkey to care for the chickens. It all gets very complicated. Which is why I could never just live in a homestead. I just couldn't do it. Unless somebody else wants to do the work. Does somebody want to do the work for me? And then go away? You just show up at 6 a.m. You feed the donkey and the chickens. You feed the chicken to the donkey. And then you go away. And you come back the next day. I think Sasquatch lives in Canada. Okay, one final poll. I'm going to bounce in about 4 minutes, but one final poll. And I want you guys to be serious, okay? Listen, I understand there's always a time and a place for joking and ha-has. I'm not like that. I don't have much of a sense of humor. I'm not a funny guy. I don't make jokes. I'm pretty serious all the time. But I want to know your honest answer. Okay, we've gotten many volunteers to help with the chickens, but they're all refusing to leave. Oh my God. The thing with the Sasquatch thing, it's just you got to wonder, how have they never been caught on video? And I know there's a couple. But that could be some dude in a Sasquatch suit. You got to think, especially the last 15 years with cell phone cameras. How have we not seen a Sasquatch? Somebody hiking. By the way, I want to believe in all this stuff. I want to believe in flat Earth. Because life is just so boring and lame in 2025. It's so gay compared to the 80s. That I want to believe in flat Earth theory. I want to believe in Sasquatches. Because they can open up portals. Okay. Why didn't I think of that? They're going through portals. They don't know how to make shoes, but they can create portals. Oh boy. There's 15 seasons of a TV show where all they do is try to find him and still nothing. Wasn't that the show that Joe Rogan hosted? Didn't he do? He had another show after Fear Factor, didn't he? Where he tried to look for Sasquatches and it lasted maybe a season. Okay, so half of you believe in Sasquatches, half of you don't. I just don't know how we wouldn't have caught one on camera yet. Having said that, I believe in aliens, just because of how massive the universe is and how tiny we are. It'd be pretty egotistical to think we're the only ones. Oh, that was Joe Rogan Questions Everything. That's right. That didn't last long. Do a flat Earth poll. This one, I'm sure people are going to troll with their responses. What about UFOs? Just asking. Yeah, no, I totally believe in that. I don't know if they've been, I don't know if the stuff that's been caught on video here is actually that, but I 100% believe in aliens and UFOs. It would just be egotistical to think that we're the only things. We're not even a pin drop in the universe, but we're the only living creatures. Stop it. Stop it. But then again, does that mean can they travel long distances in their UFOs? I don't know. But there's aliens somewhere. The 90s was awesomeness as well. It was until grunge became popular. Then the party died. Then the party was over. Once Nirvana had their big hit, the party was over. Is Bradley Martin really gay? I made an entire video about it, dude. It was pretty conclusive. We'd be the blacks if aliens came, though. Yeah, for sure we have bigger dicks than they do. For sure, dude. All right, guys. All right, fine. One last poll, and then I'm leaving. One last poll. Here we go. All right, one last poll. All right, so most of you think the Earth is round. That's boring. That's pretty boring. Well, at least 31% of you believe the Earth is flat. So I guess 31% of my viewers are flat earthers. That makes sense. I'm surprised it's not a higher percentage, honestly. And listen, one final thing before I go. If you have not clicked like, the least you can do is send me off with a like. The least thing you can do is send me off with a like. Okay? Don't be a freeloader just sitting here taking in the news, the very serious news, and not give a like. Hair reveal at 100,000. I already gave you a hair reveal. I showed you my mullet. Go to my YouTube community posts and you'll see the mullet. Guys, after my appeal for likes, I managed to get 3 more. Come on, you guys. You can do better than that. Oh, one more super chat. Here we go. William Elek with 5 juicy sewer bucks. He says, Sasquatch is BS. NASA space is CGI BS. Joe Rogan is BS. We don't live on a ball. Water is always level. Good work, bro. Dude, thank you so much. I'll absolutely agree that we didn't land on the moon. That I will say for sure. All right, we got in some more likes. All right, guys. I love you very much. Send me off with some... Ben Roth's got it. He's got the 5. He's got the 5 eagles. He's sending me off with the 5 eagle salute. Guys, if you're a member of the scum, send me off with the 5 eagle salute. And I'll see you next time. No, not those eagles. The other eagles. The eagles in my pants, baby. The eagles in my pants, baby. You missed the rant? Good thing you can rewind and watch it again. Bye. Love you always and forever.